I want to give you some strategic concepts that you might want to consider implementing if you're looking to change your mindset. You're losing weight, you've been going to the gym, your boss is never going to give you that promotion, and the list goes on and on and on. What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Walking Manifestator. I'm your host, Pena, and in today's conversation, I want to give you some strategic concepts that you might want to consider implementing if you're looking to change your mindset. Now, I think we can all agree your mindset is either your best friend or your worst enemy, right? Whether it was the last conversation that you had with yourself telling you something encouraging, such as, wow, you're losing weight, you've been going to the gym, that outfit looks amazing, or the complete opposite, which is, I can't believe you're not doing the stuff that you're supposed to, you're unworthy, you never do the things that you said, your boss is never gonna give you that promotion, you're never gonna launch that new career, and the list goes on and on and on. The reason I wanted to talk about changing your mindset is I was actually laughing earlier. I came across one of my first episodes of Walking Manifestator, and as I saw that video, it made me laugh at how me now looking back at it, I see the progress in getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Because let's face it, every single one of us for, again, the longest time have been conditioned to look for external validation. And think about it, whether it was you need to listen to your parents, because if you didn't listen to your parents and you didn't do what they wanted you to do, now you were in trouble, right? Now you were in timeout, or now you got slapped across the face, or you were in a situation that was uncomfortable. Or maybe it was the lack of having your parents that led you to being raised with all these different types of adults that were constantly acting a certain way with you. Therefore, you felt the need to act a certain way in order to always have the external validation that you needed from them. And this is something that personally we need to really understand in order to change, right? It's like anything. What you don't know, you do not know. So I have been talking a lot lately about how when we're comparing our past self to our higher self, to our present self, it really shows us how just showing up, getting uncomfortable, doing the uncomfortable is going to help you in that trajectory of growth. So back to the whole concept of me watching that video, I laughed because in that video, when I was recording it, I felt confident, right? Like I was talking about stuff that I feel comfortable with. I was talking about my experience, but looking back at it, my energy now that, of course, like I'm comparing, like, again, how that video came out to other videos that I've done, I was like, wow, like this girl was shy, or this girl was definitely not performing in her best light. And the reason I think it's important to also look at our growth is because most of the time we're just so focused on comparing ourselves to the shortcomings of maybe what we have been, again, told that we should be like, right? Whether it's your partner is telling you that you should be more like X, or maybe your kids are telling you, you know, my friend's mom is more a certain way, your job, whatever it is. So subconsciously, we're creating these neural pathways that are making it more easy for us to believe in whatever it is that we're constantly telling ourselves. So today I want to give you some practical concepts that you can implement for you to now start rewiring what you're telling yourself. Now, when we talk about mindset, I want you to think about one thing that personally is something that I have noticed the most difference in, and trust me, it is an active effort. It's an active awareness, but we need to stop worrying about what other people think, feel, or have to say about us. And I know that for me personally, that is something that I have learned to rewire what I say, because even as I would say that out loud, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, but you do care, but you do want to come across a certain way, but you don't want them to see you a certain way. So what I have started to implement now is, okay, I am going to be the best version of myself to who I currently know I can be, right? Because I know my higher self is looking at this present Alexa as, oh, you have so much still to learn, you young grasshopper. But now what I tell myself is, okay, I'm here to become the best version of myself. I am here to experience this experience with this situation and nothing more. Because if we come at it from an approach of how can I make sure that this person likes me and how can I make sure that I come across this way, you're always going to be in the back of your head analyzing everything you're saying. Like, even as I'm having this podcast, I know there's many people out there that really get consumed by what should I say at this section and what should I talk about in this section. I promise you guys, every single time, I can show you my little notebook here. I have like a small little page of things that I would like to make sure I cover, because if not, my excitement will make me forget some of those things. And that is it. Everything else, I'm telling you, right off the cuff, and I just want to come across in the most authentic way possible with the information I know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you things that I don't personally feel comfortable sharing about, because I don't maybe have all the experience of whatever it is that conversation could entail. So when we stop worrying about how am I going to come across or how is this person going to take it, we now change that internal dialogue into, I'm here to become the best version I can. I am not here to please you. I am not here to make you be my friend. If we become friends, great, but if not, great. This mindset shift is one of the most important things that you can do, because it's going to allow you to actually see it from a perspective of how can I become a better version versus how can I make this person like me. And I'm telling you, this is why it's important to understand our psyche. A lot of us, because of our upbringing, we grew up, and don't blame your parents, don't blame people. We've talked about the victim mentality, okay? Go from a victim mentality into an actual conscious creator mentality, okay? Go from a lack mentality to a growth mentality. But when we think about these things that we've gone through, for the most part, we were really, again, conditioned to actually say, well, we need to say this because if not, we're gonna get in trouble. We need to come across this way because if not, we're gonna be looked at this way with our parents or whoever was taking care of us. These are patterns that you might not think about actively, like, oh, I'm a people pleaser. Like, you're probably not thinking about it, but if you look back and you ask yourself after you walk out from a conversation, like, how did I feel from this conversation? Like, did this person make me feel like they genuinely cared about what I had to say? Or was this conversation something that honestly was geared around just what they wanted? And maybe, in the next time I don't participate with this kind of person. But don't go into a state of, I'm gonna say whatever they want me to say in order for me to, again, be the person that is going to fit in, okay? And one of the things when it comes to not worrying about that external validation is being comfortable with, and this is now going into the energy we're putting out, with who you are in this present moment. If we really think about it, let's say you walk into a room and you're in a networking event or you're at your job and there's other people that you feel intimidated by, right? There's people that look amazing and they are smiling and talking to everybody and you're just like, wow, this person must not have any fears whatsoever. You need to remember that instead of telling yourself, wow, why can't you be more like this? You should try and show yourself grace and really show this person has certain skill sets that I can also learn. And that person has the ability to also learn skill sets that I possess that they might not currently have. I think most of us, we can agree with the fact that we are very quick to judge what we don't have, but we're not really quick to actually appreciate what we do have. Maybe you're somebody that is a great, I don't know, jokester. Maybe you're somebody that has great paintings, or you are somebody that you have a art side to you. You know how to match things better. I mean, the list goes on, but there's something within you that if you really sit here, I mean, you and my son can say like, I'm a Pokemon master. Like, we all have something that is going to set you apart from other people. And when we allow ourselves to have grace to ourselves and say, hey, it's okay. Like, this is something that's why we're here. We're here to experience this. And I'm gonna share a personal situation of mine because I think that this is kind of where we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and grow from these experiences. But for the longest time, and even, you know, up to recently, I had a live event for essentially manifesting, teaching more people how to elevate their vibration. And when I was actually on the call, I caught myself, I do this thing where I talk very naturally, very fast, but then if I get excited, I speak a little bit faster. So now I've started working on not telling myself that I naturally do this, right? Why? Because a thing that you constantly repeat becomes a belief, and then from there, you actually act in the assumption of this is who I am. So now I say, no, I don't speak very quickly. I speak exactly the way that I'm supposed to speak. I speak fluently. So as I was having the event, I caught myself starting to lose my breath because I, again, was speaking very quickly, and I was like, okay, you know what? I need to take a deep breath and be okay with breathing on camera. Like, I am a human being and I am entitled to breathe. And this might sound kind of funny right now, or thinking like, yeah, of course, Alexa, you should be doing it. But think about it. When was the last time that you were in a situation where you were very uncomfortable, and instead of walking out, you stayed there, you faced that fear of yours, and you actually said, what can I learn from this experience? How can I, in this current present time, become a better version by going through this experience and actually embodying whatever I need to embody? Another thing that I noticed, and this is back to the whole looking for external validation. So I am part of one of the committees here in El Paso, and essentially we are part of the Community Investment Committee. Basically, we organize with other nonprofit organizations to give back to the community. So there's other individuals in this community, and I'm one of the vice presidents. Why am I sharing this with you? One of the other members of the committee, essentially, we were talking about how we should go about the donation that we were going to do for one of the events that we were having. And at that meeting, there was only 9 people that had attended. So I took it upon myself to ask, you know, hey, maybe we can do this with like the gift exchange, and, you know, let's me cap it at $25. This way people don't feel uncomfortable. Well, long story short, one of the, again, me counting the amount of people that we had, I was like, well, technically we'd have 9 gifts and that would be really cool. And then this person next to me basically says, I'm not going to participate, don't count me in. And we're like, oh, okay, cool, right? Like, moving on. Well, as the meeting goes on, this person essentially kind of like, you know, whispers to my ear and tells me, hey, basically looking at me like she hated me, and tells me, hey, next time don't offer anything for me. This is a voluntary contribution and I don't want to participate in it. So if you want to cover a gift for that, you do it on your behalf. And I looked at the person like honestly in shock, because I wasn't expecting that response from that person. So I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to offend you. But she looked at me like she hated me. And in that moment, I'm telling you this because I think that it's also important for us to understand this mindset concept and really implement it in situations where we need to implement it. I'm an avid, you know, supporter of like, let it go. Don't give people your energy. It is not worth it. And everything that I have learned up to this point in my journey. But I'm also an avid supporter and don't treat people the way you don't want to be treated. I in my situation would have simply told that person, oh, you know what, I appreciate it, but no thank you, I'm good. But when you give that energy and you're making that person essentially, again, now you're in a situation in which if you stay quiet, at least in my perspective, I would have gone back home later and been like, oh my gosh, like, you know, maybe I'm not good enough to be the vice president here. Like, oh, I can't believe that I offended her and I didn't speak up about it. So what I did was, after everybody was done talking, I basically said, hey guys, and I just want to say, I think I offended this person by offering to cover their contribution. I am sorry. I looked at the person and I was like, but moving forward, I will contribute this on my behalf, right? So that person was not expecting what happened there. And everybody else was in their own world. They didn't even realize, again, what this person had took from it. But that person took offense the first time that I offered this, again, gift situation. And why am I saying all of this? Well, because if we really want to be somebody that changes the mindset, we need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. We need to be comfortable enough to speak up for ourselves. We need to be comfortable enough to actually say it, but from a place of how can I grow? I could have been a completely different person and said something to her very brutally, you know, and everybody else still have assumed that like it was a charity for her and made her feel even more uncomfortable, and it would have been a disaster. But I took the high road and I said, you know what, I'm gonna apologize officially in front of everybody, which she was not expecting. And I'm gonna be the one to take the L for, you know, making this person feel this way. Well, that person did not expect that. And everybody else kind of like, after, you know, the meeting was done, two of the other people that, you know, we serve with, they were like, hey, like, I didn't take that, you know, I didn't take it that way, but I can't believe that person took it that way. And this is something that for me, I have started to get more comfortable with, just being myself, being who I personally identify with. Like, I'm a goofball at heart. If you guys are talking with me and we're like, you know, in, you know, like friends, I'm just somebody that is going to do like random things. Like sometimes me and my son will start like humming really weird or speaking in like this foreign language. And these are things that you might sit here and be like, oh no, I would never ever show anybody that side of me. But you know, that is the side of you that is the one you want to share with people in order for them to really resemble with you, right? There's a lot of people that sometimes whenever they talk about, you know, like, oh, I can't believe somebody would post this video and it looks so unprofessional and this and that. Well, guess what? That person at least is making the effort to put out a video. Guess what? That person at least is making the effort to get uncomfortable to learn how to be better. And if you can change that mindset of yours of, I need to please people, to how can I truly show my best and authentic self, that is going to be game changer for you. Now, another thing is you need to decide who you want to be. And what I've talked about in the past is you need to embody that highest version of yourself. And that can mean whatever you want it to mean. If you're somebody that's looking to, you know, start a new business, if you're somebody that's looking to get a promotion at your job, if you're somebody that's looking to demand more respect in your relationship, it all starts with you. You can't expect somebody to give you the respect that you deserve if you don't give yourself that respect for yourself. And that's something that personally, when we're changing our mindset, a lot of the times people, you know, we have different perspectives, and that's part of life. It's part of who you grew up as. It's part of your upbringing. It's part of your belief system, which your belief system is part of things that you have continuously repeated to yourself until now you became part of, again, identifying with that core belief. So if we really think about it, everybody's gonna have a different concept behind mindset and what that means to them. But at the very least, I think we can all agree that mindset is that attitude that you're having toward external situations and internal situations that you have happening for you. And one of the things that when we decide who we want to be, you have the ability to create anything. If you've been watching any of our videos before, or you're in this journey of manifesting and becoming more in alignment with your best and highest self, and you watched this video because it said how to change my mindset and you have limiting beliefs, everything comes back to your imagination. Your imagination creates your reality, okay? What you frequently see becomes your frequency. And why this is something that I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to your mindset is because if you continue to tell yourself, I'm not worthy, I would never do whatever it is that you want to do, I'm just somebody that is always constantly messing everything up, I can't have somebody that loves me, that is who you're signaling to the universe that you are. How can you expect the universe to give you anything better than what you identify with? You are a creator. So if you're a creator, that means that whatever you're creating in that beautiful mind of yours is either going to be of service for you or it's going to break you down. And this is part of adopting that new version of yourself. Who do you want to be? And waking up in the morning and acting as that person. You know, a lot of people sometimes are like, oh, I don't want to get ready. I don't want to do anything. This is just who I am. But in reality, it's not that that's who they are. It's that sometimes they don't want to put in that effort to maybe do, their hair or, put on some cologne, or they say, oh, well, it's because I don't have money for new clothes. But in reality, they're going out and, spending purchases, right? Buying things at unnecessary places that later they're feeling upset about. So when we're changing who we want to be, it's embodying everything. How do you wake up? How do you carry yourself? How do you communicate? Who is in your inner circle? A lot of the times we don't realize how much of an impact these people that are around us play with our life. And I'm telling you, if you're in a manifesting journey or you're in a mindset shift journey or anything along the lines of self-development, when you start asking better questions and you start asking for more opportunities to get better, be prepared for things to shatter. And that might feel scary and that might sound scary because it can be. When you have to change things, certain things need to break down in order for them to make waves for new and better things to happen. When I first started changing my mindset, I lost all my friends, like literally all the friends that at one point, I was the person that had, somebody always all the time for me to call or hang out with. Everybody kind of like disappeared. And if you ask me right now, like what happened, I wasn't vibrating at that frequency anymore because I didn't want to continue being the same person. And that took me making a decision in order for me to say, you know what, I want better. And I personally think that these people right now are not at that mindset of where they also want to improve. I'm nobody to judge you, but I am somebody to decide what is good and what is not good for me. So I'm going to remove myself from this equation and now focus on myself. And when you're looking for change, things are gonna break in order for them to actually come back in a better light. Now looking back at the people that I'm using little air quotes here, that I lost, I didn't really lose because I learned a valuable experience and I send nothing but positive wishes for those people. But now the people that I am welcoming into my life and that I have in my life, I am honestly in awe about the fact that I was able to create these experiences. One of my closest friends, she's getting married and I'm gonna be the ordained in it, and she said like she's not religious like that or anything, and she was just like, I wanted somebody that personally I felt that truly cares about me. And when you hear something like that from a person, it does something to you because it shows that you're really performing this whole concept of changing, right? Of becoming a better version of yourself, and that you're doing it for the right reasons. And these people that are also growing and spiritually trying to align with their highest self are now going to start vibrating at your same frequency. So deciding who you want to be, who you're gonna have around, what you're going to identify with, what you're doing, what you're consuming, or what you're not doing is super important in this mindset shift. Another thing that you wanna really remember is your brain wants, seeks, desires familiarity, okay? It needs comfort. And the moment that you decide to go a little bit off the path of what you have always known, your brain literally goes back to its primitive state of mind and says, you're gonna die, don't go there. And it tries its hardest to just push you back. And you need to understand that your brain actually is there for one thing, and that's to actually keep you alive. So when you haven't done these things that feel uncomfortable, you need to just give it the reassurance it needs. You know what, I hear you, but you know what, it's not something that we can't do. It's just something that we haven't done before. Another thing is the story you're telling yourself, right? A lot of the times we're just, again, setting these preset notions into our mindset. We're telling ourselves the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. One of the things that has helped me in my journey is actually auto-suggestion. So I wake up and I tell myself, like, I'm injecting myself with like positive juices, right? And this is obviously a figure of speech. But I will look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you're so amazing. You are so beautiful. You are so capable. You have so much knowledge. You are worthy. And the list goes on and on and on. And I do it for a good couple of minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. And I do that with my son, with my oldest. And you'd be surprised the impact that this can have at such an early age if you're a parent watching this, but even if you're not and you have other people that you can actually create a positive impact on, it is game changer, because these people, when they encounter situations in which they're going to deal with those people that are negative Nancy's, they're going to react a lot differently. And that's something you can do for yourself, because instead of telling yourself, wow, you look really, really bad, you're gonna tell yourself, you look amazing. And you know what? I can't believe that you have been doing so great at staying consistent with the gym, and look at all the results you're seeing. Even if in that moment you don't see that result the way you want it, always remind yourself, everything is in your imagination, and anything that started in the imagination can become part of your reality, okay? We've talked about this in other videos, visualize to materialize. If you can visualize it, you can materialize it, okay? And one of the last things here is something that you can also implement when it comes to like changing your mindset, is actually enjoying the growth process. And what I mean by that is falling in love with learning, falling in love with adopting new mindsets, and being open enough and vulnerable enough to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Because I'm here to experience, and I'm here to remember who I truly am. Asking yourself deeper questions is such a game changer, because it's gonna allow you to really understand to the very essence who you are and who you want to be, and what you identify as, and what is it in this journey of life that you seek to, at the end of the day, transcend with, right? Because you're never gonna die, your energy, so you're just going to, again, energy, if we've seen this in science, is only going to overall transcend into something different, right? A different form of that energy. So with that being said, I hope this was helpful for you. I do have a link down below for a mind movie that you can go ahead and start creating. This is also going to help you with your mindset shift, because again, a lot of the times we're so stuck on visualizing the old story that by creating a new one, you can start embodying that truest and best version of yourself. And there is that other video that we've recently made on how to manifest. So if you haven't seen that, check that down below. And I do want to invite you to our free Facebook group. I'll insert the links down below. This is a group that I have recently created to just get more like-minded individuals to pay it forward, give positive encouragement. Sometimes I throw in free workbooks in there, videos of encouragement, and just anything that is really going to help us in this journey of becoming the best version of ourselves and tapping into the walking manifestators that we are. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to every single one of you that continues to come back, support the channel. You guys are amazing. And of course, if you enjoy the content, if you would consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video, I would appreciate it so very much. Anyways, sending you many blessings, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.